both of them. You notice they are tied at that 10 points apiece. Yep. The tiebreaker coming down to the total elim. So you see 2 higher from Demo and Tfue. That's the difference right now. Rounding out the rest of the top 10. Cease, Lyrison, Bowman, and Vivid. 13 elims, 5 points. But the EU and Vivid going at it, showing up today. Rounding us out, we have Ronaldo, Saf, Poach Tendons, Psychic as well up there, doing well with his partner. Looking at the back half, remember, top 20 are the ones who walk away with a piece of it. Corrosive Kiwi Face, Jtruth Thwifo in there as well. Morgassi and Vinny not putting up a bad show. And then the underdogs, the RBK boys, JDW and Germ, challenging as well.
Yeah, Kaizui and Vide rounding out that top 20. That's right in the prizing. But I want to talk really quickly about Nick Mercs and Harmful absolutely destroying outside of Tilted. They're starting in Tilted, moving out of Tilted by Shifty Shafts, that area. That last game was a really nice display. Catching Aiden, catching, what was it, Dopai as well.
Yeah, making sure they're getting them on the rotations, getting their initial loot, and then getting out of there, not taking the risk. But we're into match 4. The bus is loaded. The players are ready to jump off, and I couldn't be more excited about it.
I could not be more excited at all. There's so much action all around the map. There's Paradise, Tilted, there's action in Dusty Divot as well. It's just so much to watch.
Yes, and now looking at the bus path as it comes across the players, popping into your screen now. We're going from that bottom right quarter to the top left, southeast to northwest, but a decent mid-split ball. Where do you think we're going to see players dropping?
Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on Paradise. There's been a lot of action, especially in that game 1. There's Saint, there's Ghoul, there's Lynette. There's so many players dropping in Paradise. It's a very, very nice spot to look at. And there's actually, you see the llama over towards that truck stop out in the southwest or southeast corner of the map as well. There's 2 players dropping on it. That's a nice little find there.
Really good influx of materials and utility that you can get. That's not a bad loot spot anyway, so expect them to be coming out of that really well prepared, and also to have a lot of people to fight. There's 3 teams down in Fatal.
3 teams indeed. We'll see if Nate Hills and Funk Bomb are actually deciding to go back towards their hometown of Fatal Fields. We'll see though, as they aren't actually contesting yet. There's so much to look at on this map. Polar Peak is interesting as well to me. There's 4 players right around there. That split is always interesting and fun to watch. But we're going to hop in with Thwifo, Jtruth against Nistic and McDonald we saw earlier today as this fight starts to unravel.
Yeah, Nistic already down on the ground. McDonald trying to create some space for him, but unfortunately, it's going to be really difficult in an early 1v2 situation where they both have shields and they're pitching from the side. Fantastically well executed 1v2 there. And you notice they got the initial down right away, and he has that hunting rifle, and it's missing a couple bullets. You have to think he probably picked one up, got an AR around, and they're able to just close that up. That's going to put them in a prime spot. No one else anywhere near them. Tons of loot, 2 elims, and a bunch of shields. They're looking good. Jumping on over to Tilted, we've talked about some of the names here. We're going to see Butter Aiden versus DofPS and Slobbings. This was one of the first fights we covered in match 1. Let's see what the resolution will be. Some shots being traded out right away. Aiden ends up going down. It's going to be on Butter again to try and clutch this out. He has a decent amount of shields and a pump. Not a bad situation to be in, but not a great one. And it looks like he's going to opt to disengage. He's leaving Aiden there. They're going to clean that out. More shields and an elim for them. He's just trying to get away and find a spot where maybe he can make a 1v2 play. We've seen this before. You just got to get somewhere, crouch, and hope they either disengage or someone else comes in.
Yeah, and we saw Butter in that situation as well over towards that basketball court before. And unfortunately, Aiden's going to go down again. There's so much action here in Tilted. It's so difficult to keep up. The different drops, it depends who wins specific buildings, who gets the landing there perfectly. But you can see Slobbings and FPS go right up on top of that tall building in the middle there. And Nick Mercs is there too, actually.
It's that other pair we were talking about. These have been the 3 teams that are in there. It's the Butter Aiden, Nick Mercs and Harmful, and then Slobbings and his teammate just trying to get whatever they can. However, it's just running around. Not a bad loadout from him. The blue pump going to allow him to really excel in these close quarter situations. Snake's able to force him around. Has a decent amount of shields. DofPS and Slobbings just control of it. We're going to flip on over to Lazy Links where Monster and Devious are squared off against Ziff and Povzy. But Ziff looks like he's just trying to provide a little bit of support in the Stormwing. Not sure if they're fully aware of him. You see Devious and Monster are looking towards that direction and trying to put shots down on that pilot right now.
Yeah, this is a strategy that Ziff and Povzy have been using here in Lazy to contest Devious and Monster, grabbing that Storming and actually coming in from the side and using this turret to such good use. Ziff actually managed to get a lot of damage in that first game. We'll see if he's going to be able to do anything from this guy today.
Yeah, it makes it incredibly difficult when that storming is just raining shots down on you. Yes, you are able to trade back fire. They're a little vulnerable, but the amount of pressure it puts for his teammate, where you kind of, now you see, this is a really good play. He's using the natural cover of the roof to be able to fire back, but you see Ziff going aggressive now with it.
And now it's going to be a pinch. It's going to be 1v1 for Ziff and Monster here, and Devious against Pobsy.
Yep, misses the boogie bomb. He throws out on Pobsy, trying to provide support fire. Monster trades right back. He says, no, 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 don't poke it out. Throwing the clingers, and immediately Devious sees the pushes going. Ziff has to track back to Pobsy on literally 1 HP.
Yeah.
Pops his minis to get the 50 effective back. The clinger's not going to land. Ziff trying to get over, regroup. Let's see how they play this 1v2 out.
Yeah, and all Monster's trying to do is keep Ziff from supporting Pobsy. As you can see, Ziff was trying to book it all the way to get to Pobsy and make sure that Devious couldn't hunt him down, and he did manage to do that. So it's going to be a stalemate again. They're going to give a little bit of time. Pobsy has those minis, like you said. And now we'll see what they're going to manage to do. Let's get a little bit of damage on the Ziff.
Yeah,
that's not going to be a good
angle
start
right
again.
now from Devious. It's going to be incredibly hard to rotate away from this position. You see their pin, not a lot to work with either. 2 great infantry rifles. That new gun provides a lot of mid-range pressure, but not great in the close quarter situation. Does have the great tack, but when you're at such a health disadvantage, Bala, there's not a lot you can do.
Yeah, and that's the thing about dropping towards those Stormwings. That depot doesn't give that many. There's only 2 chests and probably 1 or 2 floor loot
Look
spawns.
at Monster's angle. Look at Monster's angle. You see him off on the side. He's trying to peek.
good
There's
flank.
the shots go out. Any amount of chip is good for them there. They have to execute on this pinch now. If they're not able to knock these guys out, it's going to be a lot of wasted time and resources. But if they do, look, pre-charging the dynamite, they're going to try and get that down, and then Devious is going to try and follow up the shots.
Yeah, and that was a perfect placement on that dynamite. He actually completely opens up Pobsy, and he's managed to knock him all the way down. It's just Ziff left. Nice positioning, and he's going to go down too. Devious just drops down. That's the thing with the dynamite there, Sundown. Blowing up that entire building gives so many opportunities to find angles.
Yeah, they had to play that low ground situation. They're actually hitting some of those buildings to try and get whatever mats they could. That's when you know they're desperate. The dynamite play and the pinch from Devious and Monster, it was so cleanly executed. They were patient, they made sure they had angles, and they covered it. That's how you play a 2-on-2 fight when you know you have an advantage. Speaking of a 2-on-2 fight, we're going to jump on over to containers. This is Poach knows this place. Honestly, he probably knows it better than the back of his hand.
Yeah, but I'm concerned right now. You can see those 2 pink arrows in the bottom right of your screen moving towards the back side of them, and yeah, there it is. They're going to get shot from the back all the way down to 7 shields. It's not
And then shot right back from the front as he pops off the mini. Tons of effective health going down, and these are a really dangerous pinch. This was the pair you were talking about, the Bizzle and Triggy, who have been executing so well on their game plan, despite being a random duos. Again, if you're just joining us, we are in match 4 of the Secret Skirmish duos portion of the competition. We brought them in on their solos merits, so we randomized them up, mixed them up, and they're playing for $100,000 today, Bala.
Yeah, and you can see actually Bizzle and Triggy had a spot marked on the map. They took the opportunity to take those shots at Poach in the pinch with Sean, but they're going to go ahead and continue their game plan and get to a solid position. If we look at the map, they're actually going to be right center, right smack dab in there, and Poach is also trying to decide how he wants to make his way towards the center of the zone as well.
Yeah, but a lot of people are going to be converging towards this northwestern location. Containers is very popular as a rotation spot because you always think like, oh, maybe I should check in. Maybe there might be something else here. Maybe I can sneak a little bit of loot that wasn't there. But you also have to be careful. There's always someone lurking.
There's always someone lurking, and just like you were talking about, maybe there's a little bit of loot, but specifically, there's always extra containers to find. You can see Sean topping off on some metal. He's already at probably half. He has 2/3 of his materials right now, at least. So he's going to be in good shape towards that end game.
Yeah, and they're just
so
standing.
close.
They're standing out in the open, just taking shots, flipping on over now to Salty Springs. Pardon me, JDW and Jared, the underdogs we were talking about. Marksman trying to put some shots out. Pearl has the high ground. They have him pinned on the low ground. There are some bottle rackets there. We'll see if he opts to utilize it, but more than likely, he's just going to try and use that suppressed Epic AR to put down some shots, and he needs to get out of the storm. He's kind of low.
He is very low, all the way down at 25 HP. You can see Jerem and JDW down on the low ground. They're on the edge of that zone. Look how many teams are inside of this little tiny area on the edge of the zone. They're going to want to try to get away as fast as possible. They do have that risk to go if they want to, but another one on the side. He's going to go down to 27.
Now, this is the typical for the edge of the zones. Why do we see so many teams end up pumped up in here? But unfortunately, they're right down there. Rift to go out. That is such a smart play.
Yeah, but he's not out of the woods yet. Only 7 HP. He's going to fall. That's such an easy target way up high. All they have to do is box up and look up. And though JDW goes down. Germ is actually, he's going to try to loop back around.
Thwifo is hot on the tails of this. So they were pinned in by the Stinks, are able to clean it up. There's Thwifo, good job. So being pinned in by the Stinks with only 20 HP immediately ticks down. Rift goes to gets out, but you're an easy target then in the air. These are very good players. They've qualified from PAX West, TwitchCon, all of those solo performances, earning them an invitation here to this secret skirmish and just showing their ability to track these targets and not let them out. Speaking of tracking their targets, Bala, Cloaksy, we've seen how good he is. We're going to catch a replay of one of his early eliminations right now as it comes up and to see what he is able to do, what he has been able to do out of the Stormwing. This is...
No way,
I don't have words. That is just otherworldly level of tracking and finding that, and then able to clean up on it afterward from the Stormwing. Good rotation. Normally it's known for just rotating. Cloaksy's showing it can be used for more.
Yeah, you see some players who are so good with those snipers, get those shots a lot, but we're gonna hop into this fight right on the edge of Loot Lake. It looks like Blue T is under pressure. I don't see his teammate anywhere to be found. Mentos and Base Soldier coming in, he does the cone in. Is he gonna get the edit? Blue T is also getting pressure from above, but the Mentos goes down actually.
That was a valiant effort coming out from Blue T. So what you'll see when you're fighting defensively in a 1v2 situation, players tend to box themselves in and try and buy as much time as possible, hope to get a shot. He did get the knockdown on Dementos, but not able to convert. This is going to put them in a little bit of an awkward situation. However, with all the extra resources, they should be fine. Flipping on over near Wailing, you have Deuces and Tickers, Ifa in between, and then Chap and Cloaks, the pair who picked up that 6th snipe, sitting on 2 elims, and they're in a pretty good spot right now, Paolo.
Yeah, in a very good spot. One of the things I wanted to mention was all the Wailing droppers in this zone are going to be favored here because they do get that use of that infinite rift down below the base. But for now, Chap and Cloaksy are actually going to try to pressure Ifa in front of them on the edge here. They're in a decent position.
Yeah, getting some shots rained down on them, not horrible. The trees provide a lot of natural cover, but once you are down in there, you are down in there. As soon as other people start looking, if one person starts shooting, it's very frequent for others, rather than to trade shots out on them, to pile in. Hey, if a wall breaks and I get a stray shot in there and I'm the one who gets that down, great. If not, no pressure on me. They're not shooting at me, right?
Yep, exactly. And you can actually see that we're going to hop in with Tickers and Deuces. But Harmful and Nick Merckx in the background there. They're lurking. They made their way into the zone. And they're still up for sure. So
yeah, that's a good rotation too. From tilted all the way over to the backside, pretty safe. Some good shots coming out from Deuces, aiming towards that canyon, knowing not a lot of people are going to have an option. They're either rotating through the valley or you'll see a building up above. So good angle coming out from them, and they hold the high ground. If you look down the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, that little high ground nook right there gives them control over basically all of Wailing. People who think they're safe rotating through, if you show them a pixel and you get hit, they're going to hit it.
Yep, exactly. And now, looks like Nick Merckx and Harmful do have such a significant base here towards the center zone. And again, if you get centered in the zone towards these late circles, you get a much, much bigger chance of getting the next zone. We're going to hop into the 3rd zone in 5 seconds. We'll see where that lands.
Yeah, and just a quick state of the game. There is 68 players remaining, 37 duo pairings, so a couple of solos running around there. We know Butter was one as well, and Harmful and Nick waiting, trying to get one more elim to grab a point. That point will be crucial. Every single point matters right now. Looking at that top 20 situation, 2 points is going to put you into it right now with a couple good tiebreakers. So everyone is valuable.
Yeah, and just taking a look at that 3rd zone that has been revealed in the bottom right, you could actually see the Infinite Rift is still in place. So all the players that are down there, I believe I saw Cease and Lyrison actually down in that Infinite Rift area, are going to have such an advantage if this continues to go this way. It could even land on them a 4th time, possibly.
And one other thing to take into consideration, when the circle comes up towards Wailing Woods like this, there's going to be a lot more natural materials in play over the course of the game. It's really easy to constantly top back up on wood and then leave that wood supply down there. As you're rotating, you always see just little bundles here and there. Pick those up. You're going to see more mats in the late game than traditional, simply because of the availability of resources in this circle.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Frosty, ZK, and Sean down there doing that specific thing as well. A lot of metal actually down there to be able to do that.
Yeah, a lot of those buildings, people don't really think about it. Sometimes you just got to break a piece of furniture. I know it feels really good. Just smash that lamp. It's super rewarding, particularly when you have one of the pickups. It's like, zhung, zhung. Like, it always makes farming metal more important to me, man.
It does, absolutely. We're going to hop in with Thwifo and Jtruth, and they're making their rotate in as well. We'll see what type of position they get. They're not in the zone just yet.
Yeah, you see where they have marked out, trying to make the rotation through, but a lot of arrows in the way. Kevy and Jiaomao right there. Kiwiface and Kuros as well. We're probably going to see a lot of fights happen right on the edge of the circle. And as these fights start popping off, look for people to try and flank, right? If somebody else is rifling across, you can't really hear people flanking up behind you. It's really difficult to tell when somebody's breaking into your box if you're trading shots away with somebody else. Yeah,
and exactly just like that. Actually, Thwifo and Jtruth at 5 elims. They're going to have to be careful with just that thing that you just said there. You saw Kuros take some shots, and they need to be careful of all the teams around them. That congestion in this area.
Somebody already firing off some bottle rocks, trying to break up a little bit of that congestion, firing it towards the edge of the circle, not letting people establish that. It's just a really good, annoying utility item. It puts just a little bit of pressure on them. It means you have to be conscious of it. You have to be replacing your wall. But also, Thwifo and Jtruth, 5 elims you talked about, 1 more for a point, and there's a lot of people left. We're still 63 players left, 33 duos.
I like the use of the bottle rockets right here, actually keeping Kuros and Kiwiface out of the zone. Nice use. They're actually going to rotate back out of the zone and try to get up in a different position and get away from the people who are bottle rocking them. Ooh.
I think that's a very good choice, Bala. You don't want to be running straight into a bunch of bottle rockets, having to contest with that, and then also worry about maybe trading bad shots or having to throw up a ramp or a quick double ramp wall into the zone. A lot of gatekeeping going on. It's a term typically thrown out in Fortnite. What does it mean when you see that?
Yeah, it's definitely, it's when you basically are trying to keep the players out of zone. They're throwing all their mats trying to get in that zone, and you're just going to continue to shoot at them. They're going to actually draw all the attention from everybody in the zone, and it's going to be hard to get in when people are trying to do that to you.
Yeah, it makes it incredibly difficult. Looking back into it right now, people are going to have to be forced more into that central location, but with all the action we've caught so far, there's definitely some that may mix. Lupo, catch us up on the mid-game highlights.
Sundown Ballin, thank you very much. We're going to take a look back just a couple plays here in competitive Fortnite. Taking the opportunity that your opponent may present is one of the best options right here. You see Madruski, boom, takes advantage of a ramp swap from Takata and catches him off guard. Now, opportunity plays are extremely important. Sheep, Dobai already eliminated, but right there, Sheep takes the just 2 seconds to finish the elimination, get that little siphon boost there, and as I said before, taking advantage of your opponent's edits, the builds. Right here, Aspect watching the push from his opponent, gets a quick shotgun shot off to get the knockdown on Naga Ops, goes for the elimination. Every single shield point counts, and these players know it. Now right here, you have a pinch opportunity, the quick wall replace, the edit, and getting that last elimination. Carlos goes down, Aspect picking up just a little bit more shield. These competitive players, boys, they are on top of the game every step of the way.
They most certainly are, Dr. Lupo. Thank you so much for breaking that down. We're going to hop back on board here with Paytech and Overpeak, the Norwegian himself, representing Gambit, trying to put some pressure on here. He had an amazing performance at TwitchCon, him and Dementos winning back-to-back games, and they're setting themselves up for a late, trying to have a good late game rotation. They're right on the edge of the circle. They're above that Storm Surge threshold. Storm Surge triggers, when players have been a little too passive, if we're still packing it in towards the late game, you have to take action. You have to make sure you're at least trading shots back out, and these guys are close. If that one team who's only 4 below puts out some more damage, they could be in danger. They might need to go find a fight real quick, or they'll start being ticked from above. The great purple thunder god will spray it down and do a little bit of damage and force you out of that box and force you to go fight, Bala.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love Patek's use of the wall in the pyramid there to block his behind as he tries to get above that, more damage, so he gets safely above that Storm Surge. He's going to get some on 72 hours, and that's going to be perfect for him.
Yes, and you see how that number keeps flipping back and forth. Everyone looking to trade. They're looking to fight. They're looking to put in whatever shots they can. Paytech trying to rotate over, keep ultimate high ground. They're in a very good position right on the edge of the circle. And also, they're not being cut off too much by the tree lines. They have good sight lines here, but that means other people can shoot back at them.
Yeah, absolutely. And having this height gives them the ability to look at so many players down on low ground. It gives them the ability to try to find any shots they can. You saw him get shots on the 72 hours. Really nice play to get that height as well.
Right now, we see the picture-in-picture. Cloaksy on the side being pressured. They're sitting on 3 elims. They need to pick one more out. Chap is on no shield. Cloaksy being forced to pop whatever bandages he had left, but shots are still being sprayed in. Using the pyramid inside of his own structure to be a little safe there. Give himself just a nice little nook to heal up. Chap covering as well, saying, I got you. Pop your band-aids. Put them on.
The versatility of that pyramid. We talked about 2 techniques now right in a row. We'll see. They have a ways to go, but they do have the 2 launch pads to try to use. 10 seconds on that zone, but we're going to hop in with Tfue and Demo, who are on the edge a little bit north of, as they see. They do have that Rift to go. That's going to be really good in towards that end game.
Yes, and just a reminder, these are our current leaders, tied with 10 points at the top with that Bizzle and Trigisaurus pair. We've been talking about Demo, however, going down. This is what happens when you get separated. Tfue is not going to be close enough. Those late game downs generally will get converted on very quickly. People are very Elim hungry. They want the points, they want the siphon. Immediately, he actually gets down over him. He's covering him. He's going to try and get this revive off Bala.
There's somebody trying to push, but I don't know if he knows exactly where Demo is. And yes, he does. And we'll see. He has to leave for the storm as well. And Tfue might have the time still here. Just a second. No, it looks like he's going to leave.
Oh, he's going to try. Can he rift both of them?
No, I don't think so.
I was just about to say, they're going to try and bring him through, maybe get a quick revive and then rift. They're
Still
right on the edge of the circle. No, they have to go.
Yeah. And here goes Tfue.
Yeah, just going to leave him.
Absolutely. As he looks for the best position, he might decide to land on this high ground. We'll see. He's only one in the air. One of the things when you're rifting is sometimes you bring a lot of people with you, but in this case, only Tfue up in the sky.
Yeah, we talk about that recycled utility players. They hear the launch pad, they hear the rifts, you look to run for it, and the new circle now populated. People are going to have a far run. Tfue staying up enough so he can get prime position on the next rotation, but also play a little bit of a loop goblin, drop down, pick up some free stuff, and a supply drop there.
I really like that decision. He stayed high, but we're going to see Daxor in the bottom right now, trying to finish the Elim onto grenades if he can. No, he's not going to be able to do it. I love what Tfue did with that Rift to go. He stayed up so long so he could see that new zone. And then found the loot as well, but here's Daxor and Fulmer.
Yeah, flipping over, things are about to get hectic. 36 players left, 23 duos. Remember, only the top 5 duos will secure points. Otherwise, it's all Elim. Storm Surge active again. You see that on your right-hand side. Players, as they rotate, are going to be looking to trade shots even more because of it. Chap ending up going down the side. And you hear, this is the recycled utility we talk about. As soon as one person throws a launch pad down, everyone else is like, I find it, I see it, I got a rotation.
Yes.
But if you don't, you get caught on the backside. Nitmix picking up 72 hours, him and Monster going at it, stuck in the storm. Tfue trying to rotate through, has the front ground right here. Not worried about it, he's ahead of this rotation, and he also has a rocket launcher. This could be incredibly efficient. Look at that, Zhao, right away, immediately to the face, picks it up. Sitting on max, what else can he do with it?
He can point here. That's going to be the story.
9 Elims right now. 9 Elims right now for Nick and Harmful. They are in that big bonus territory. Big bonus means every single Elim here on out is an extra point. Nick gets the rift. They go up. They're all on the high ground. However, that was not his rift. Harmful is still down there and fighting. You see them on either perspective. Right now, he is completely alone, trying to play safe and just finding shots. Good heavy AR shots out there. 22 players left. 16 duos. RPG comes through, does not find him. Immediately tries to box himself back up.
Yeah, one of the issues for Nick and Harmful right now is that Nick had those launch pads if he wants to make the rotation, so Harmful's on his own here. As you can see, he's getting shot from all directions. He's gonna go ahead and make through it. And no, he goes down.
Edits into the box right away. Another player there. That's the problem when doing these super close quarter rotations. Everyone is in a box. Everyone's behind it. Everyone can edit it out. Nick getting to the edge of circle, getting in the front. This front position very good. He can now edit the window and look for where other players. They have to rotate past him, and he has time to think. Trying to see who else is behind. Right in the box. Next over. 100 immediately falls up with a 90, but neither of those two players are together. They're fighting each other as well. Nick knows he's low, able to convert on the down. Tickers goes down. That is 10 Elims for him. That's an extra point as well. So they've already wrapped up 5 elimination points. 11 duos left, 13 players, so only a couple of solos running around. Will Nick be able to find more? Will they be able to challenge towards the top? Aegis in the middle, Lyricid above him. Anthony and Punisher having a fight on the backside. Anthony picks that one up. Lenon all the way on the front trying to get there. Nick is hunting Ghoul, you see it on the back. Anthony picks up Triggy as he was solo. Triggy's not going to be able to pick up any additional points in this one. Down to our top 8 duos, 10 players left. This is getting 10. Shot comes out from Aegis. Does not quite convert. Still hitting that player. Has to be so low, Bala.
Yeah, absolutely. Aegis trying to manage to get away from these players. That's what you want to do in these situations. Get away from these players. You see Nick Merckx did go down. I also want to touch on Lyricid and Cease actually up on that high ground. So we'll see. This is a point here.
Yep, next duo eliminate. Not only was that a point from that, because it puts them into that top 5 teams. Now they want to hit top 3. There's only 4 teams remaining. Stuck out in this one. Gets picked up by Thwifo. Now it's just a straight 1-on-1. Jtruth Thwifo able to be picked up. Unfortunately, Thwifo goes down. Anthony cleans it up on the backside. 5th Elim pushes him to 2 points. Gets the victory out. But right there at the end, I don't know if you saw it, Thwifo and Jtruth had 11 Elims. We had 2 teams pushing into the big bonus right there. Nick Merckx able to get there. Thwifo able to get there. They have to be happy with that performance, but let's not count out our Victory Royale winners right there. Anthony and Clarity G, very well executed from Anthony. You saw a couple very clutch fights going down the low ground, cleaning those up, and we're gonna see those final moments over again. So they're not super low. Anthony cleans that up right there. Aegis is out in the storm. Thwifo turns around right up, immediately blasts it back. Anthony, great shot to equalize, and Thwifo doesn't have